Isadora Moon goes to school. Half vampire, half fairy, totally unique by Harriet Muncaster. Many more magical stories to collect. 5 reasons why you'll love Isadora Moon. Meet the magical, fantastical Isadora Moon. Isadora's cuddly toy, Pink Rabbit, has been magicked to life. Fairy or vampire school, which would you choose? Isadora's family is crazy. Enchanting pink and black pictures. If you had to choose, would you rather be a vampire or a fairy? Isadora Moon goes to school. Chapter 1. Isadora Moon. That's me. Pink Rabbit and I have lots of fun together. My mom is Countess Cornelius Moon. She's a fairy. Yes, really. She likes gardening, swimming in the wild streams, having magical campfires, and sleeping outdoors under the stars. My dad is Count Bartholomew Moon, and he is a vampire. Yes, really. He likes staying up all night, eating only red food, tomatoes, yuck. Gazing at the night sky with his special telescope and flying in front of a full moon. Then there's my sister, baby Honey Blossom Moon. She's half fairy, half vampire, just like me. She likes snoozing, gurgling, and drinking pink milk. Pink Rabbit and I do everything together. He is my very favorite stuffed toy, so Mom magicked him to life. And this is our house. That's my bedroom at the top of the tallest turret. I can see the whole town from the window. Pink Rabbit is mostly not allowed to look out the window because he likes jumping off things too much. If he thinks he can fly, he can't fly. Every morning I watch the human children walking down the road to school. They wear funny-looking uniforms with stripy ties. And even though the children look very friendly, and even though they look like they are having fun, it makes me glad that I'm a vampire fairy, because vampire fairies don't have to go to school. Or so I thought. Yesterday evening, I was practicing my loop-the-loops out of my bedroom window when Dad called from downstairs. "Isadora," he said, "it's breakfast time." Dad always had his breakfast at 7 o'clock at night because he sleeps during the day. Mom has hers in the morning. This means I usually have 2 breakfasts. I don't mind because peanut butter on toast is my favorite thing to eat. Dad is sitting at the table drinking a glass of his very special red smoothie juice. I think it's disgusting. I do not like red food, especially tomatoes. I know there are tomatoes in Dad's special red smoothie juice. "One day you'll enjoy it like a proper vampire," he says to me. "All vampires love red food." But I know I won't. I'm only half vampire after all. Mom was there too, opening the kitchen window to let in the fresh air, and putting in bunches of flowers in vases. We had 14 vases of flowers in the kitchen, and a tree growing from the middle of the floor. Mom loves to bring the outdoors inside. Honey Blossom was grizzling in her high chair because she had dropped her bottle on the floor. I picked it up for her and filled it with some more pink milk. She hates red juice, just like me. Dad said, "Isadora, the time has come for you to go to school." "But Dad," I said, "I'm a vampire fairy. I do not need to go to school." "Even vampire fairies have to go to school," Mom said. "Vampires too?" added Dad. Oh, wait. Even vampires have to go to school. Even fairies have to go to school, said Mom. Vampires too, added Dad. But I don't want to go to school, I said. I have a perfectly busy and fine life at home with Pink Rabbit. But you might enjoy it, insisted Dad. I used to love my vampire school as a young boy. And I just adored my fairy school, said Mom, spooning some flower nectar yogurt into her bowl. You'll have a wonderful time, they both smiled. I wasn't so sure. But I'm not a full fairy, I said, and I'm not a full vampire. So which school would I go to? Is there one especially for vampire fairies? Is there a school for me? Well, no, said Mom, not exactly. You are very rare, said Dad, sucking at his juice through a straw. But very special, added Mom quickly, and I think fairy school would suit you marvelously. Of course, if you prefer vampire school, said Dad, it's a lot more exciting. Is it? Asked Mom, sounding as though she did not agree at all. How about we let Isadora decide herself? Pink Rabbit jumped up and down in agreement. Isadora can spend one day at fairy school and one day at vampire school and decide which one she likes best, said Mom. But I begin. Fantastic idea, exclaimed Dad. Well, okay, I guess, I said in a small voice. I suddenly didn't fancy eating breakfast anymore. I took Pink Rabbit's paw and walked slowly back up the stairs to my bedroom, thinking very hard all the way. Which school would you like to go to, Pink Rabbit? I asked. Vampire or fairy? He didn't say anything because he can't talk. He just looked up at me with his big black eyes and gave an extra little bounce. A rabbit school, I replied. I don't think those exist. When we got to my room, we had a little tea party with our special patterned tea set. Bat-turned tea set. That's bat-patterned tea set. I find having a tea party always helps me think better. We didn't have any real tea, so we put in glitter in teacups instead of the we didn't have any real tea, so we put glitter in the teacups instead, and Pink Rabbit got it all over his nose. You will have to learn to be more civilized once we are in school, I told him. I know they are very strict about manners at vampire school. Pink Rabbit looked at him a bit ashamed. So I patted his head and brushed the glitter off his nose. It doesn't matter, I said. We can always go to fairy school instead. I think they are a bit more wild there. Pink Rabbit seemed to like that idea. Also, I added, I bet they eat more cake at fairy school. They might even have carrot cake. Pink Rabbit bounced up and down with excitement. Even though he really can't eat food, he likes to pretend. Carrot cake is his favorite. I stood up and brushed the glitter off my dress. Oh, I just don't know, I wailed. I don't know if I'm more fairy or more vampire. I love magic, sunshine, and dancing around campfires, but I also love black of night and flying amongst the moon and stars. It's very difficult. I don't know what I am or which school I am going to pick. Pink Rabbit shrugged and stared at me. I picked him up and went over to the turret window. The sky twinkled. all over with the stars. I knew my dad would love the second tallest turret. I knew my dad would be the second tallest turret right now, gazing at them through his expensive astronomer's telescope. They are very different, you know, I said to Pink Rabbit. Each one is unique, but they all look the same from down there. Pink Rabbit nodded quite wisely, but I could see he had his mind on other things. He was thinking about jumping out the window. I took his pink squishy paw and we stepped onto the windowsill. Come on then, I said. Let's go for a fly among the stars before we go to bed. Chapter 2. Fairy School. Teacher Monsieur Pamplemousse. He likes neat handwriting, butterfly spotting, camping in the wilderness, and magic. 9 a.m. Lesson 1, Wand Waving. 10:30 a.m. Break time, coconut milk and organic cupcakes. 11 a.m. Lesson 2, Dancing. 12:30 lunchtime, buttercup soup with acorn pancakes. 2 p.m. Lesson 3, flower garlands. 4 p.m. home time. I felt a bit nervous the night before fairy school. I think Pink Rabbit was too. I can always tell when Pink Rabbit is nervous or excited. He fidgets all night. He fidgeted all night and I almost didn't sleep a wink. That's why I was very tired the next day when Mom came to get me up. Come on, Isadora, rise and shine, she said. It's time for fairy school. I know you're going to love it. She led me downstairs for my morning bath in the garden pond. Mom loves to bathe in the pond among the lily pads, and she thinks we should all do the same. It's so invigorating to be one with nature. Personally, I prefer when Dad is in charge of bath time. It is much less cold when Dad is in charge of bath time. He switches all the lights off and lights a lot of candles. It is very atmospheric. Sometimes he makes shadow puppets dance across the walls for me. That's my favorite kind of bath time. The fairy school was at the top of the hill covered in flowers. It looked like a giant cupcake with windows and doors. Glitter puffed out from the giant shiny cherry on top. Doesn't it look wonderful? Mom said. Then she kissed my cheek and fluttered away. I stood looking at the school, holding Pink Rabbit's paw. He needed me to hold his paw because everything was so new and a bit scary. My teacher, called Monsieur Pamplemousse, had pink hair and looked like icing on a fairy cake. Good morning, class, he said. Today we are going to learn about how to use a magic wand. I had always wanted a wand of my very own. Suddenly I knew fairy school was for me. After all, who doesn't want a glittery wand that can grant wishes? We are going to make lovely things appear, said Monsieur Pamplemousse. All you need to do is wave it and imagine. You should all be naturals at this. He handed everyone a sparkly wand. All at once the fairies began to wave their wands in the air. Nice things began to appear all over the classroom. The little kittens, giant bowls of ice cream, stripy lollipops, towering birthday cakes, freshly squeezed lemonade. What shall we wish for, Pink Rabbit? I asked. Pink Rabbit bounced up and down beside me. Carrot cake, I said. What a good idea. I imagined a huge, towering carrot cake covered in creamy icing and decorated with marzipan carrots. Whoosh! I waved my wand. A single carrot dropped out of the air and rolled to the floor. I frowned. That is not what I was imagining, I said. I closed my eyes and I thought of the cake again. I could see it very clearly. I knew exactly what it was supposed to look like. It had 5 layers and a marzipan rabbit on the top of it. I waved my wand again. Whoosh! Still, no cake appeared. Instead, the carrot started to grow. It rolled around on the floor, getting bigger and bigger all of the time. Oh dear, I said to Pink Rabbit. I looked around for Monsieur Pamplemousse, but he was very busy taste testing a fairy's cake over on the other side of the room. The carrot was huge. Stop growing, I said to it. Stop! But the carrot did not stop. It kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Monsieur Pamplemousse, I called, but he didn't hear me over the excited chatter of the fairies. I stared at the giant carrot. A few of the nearby fairies had noticed it now. They were pointing and laughing. It was embarrassing. Quickly, I pointed my wand at the carrot once more. Then there was a whoosh and a shower of sparks. Stop growing, I thought. Turn into a nice cake. The carrot stopped growing, but it did not turn into a nice cake. Instead, it sprouted into a pair of bat wings and began to flap itself through the air. Monsieur Pamplemousse, I shouted. Finally, he turned around, just in time to see the giant carrot zooming around the classroom, crashing from wall to wall and destroying everything in its way. Cake and lemonade exploded everywhere, splattering up the walls and splashing all over the floor. Take over, shouted Monsieur Pamplemousse, immediately leaping underneath his desk in front of the class. All the other fairies followed his lead, diving underneath the desks, too. Oh, take cover is what he said. I crouched under mine and listened to the bangs and the crashes going above my head. This is all my fault, I thought, reaching out for Pink Rabbit's paw. But Pink Rabbit's paw was not there, and nor was Pink Rabbit. Where is he? I peered out from under the desk through the lemonade rain and shower of cake crumbs. My heart felt tight in my chest. What if he had been squashed? But then I saw him. He was on the other side of the room, opening one of the big classroom windows. What a clever rabbit, I thought. The window swung open and a cool summery breeze floated through the room. The carrot stopped in mid-air. It did a loop-the-loop, then it pointed its nose towards the open window and rocketed into the sky, scattering a trail of cake crumbs and lollipops behind it. Everything went quiet for a second, and no one said anything. Then Monsieur Pamplemousse got from under his desk and smoothed his suit. Come on, everyone, he said. Get out from under your desks. Honestly, fancy hiding under your desk because of a carrot. Then he said, Isadora, I'm afraid I don't think you quite have that fairy skill for wand waving. Oh, well, I thought. Maybe I am completely a vampire after all. The next lesson was ballet. I have taken ballet lessons since I was 3, so I wasn't worried about messing up in this class. All went to change into our tutus. I love my ballet tutu. It is my second favorite thing after Pink Rabbit. It is black as midnight and has silver stars with black glitter. It makes me feel mystical and magical. Sometimes I wear it just for fun when I'm at home. I put it on and then I noticed that all the other fairies were staring at me oddly, and so was Monsieur Pamplemousse. You can't wear that, they all said. It's black. But I like black, I said. Black is the color of the sky at night. Black is a mystical and magical color. And look at how it sparkles. But it's black, said Monsieur Pamplemousse. We fairies wear pink ballet outfits. It's the rules. I was made to change out of my tutu and into a pink fluffy one. It just wasn't the same. I found I tripped up in the pink tutu. I missed my steps and I came to the bottom of the class. I just didn't feel like my magical, mystical self. Oh dear, I said, Pink Rabbit. I think I am maybe more vampire than I thought. For lunch, we had buttercup soup and acorn cupcakes. Yum, said all the fairies. We love acorn pancakes and buttercup soup. They taste of trees and flowers. I wasn't sure I wanted my food to taste like trees and flowers, but I was very hungry, so I ate it all up. It wasn't too bad, but nowhere near as good as peanut butter on toast. The last lesson of the day was flower garland making. It's almost midsummer, said Monsieur Pamplemousse, a very important event in the fairy calendar. We are going to go into the magical woodland behind the school and forage for branches and flowers to make crowns. Then we will all wear them next week when we dance around a bonfire. Ooh, said all the fairies. Yes, said Monsieur Pamplemousse. It is a wonderful way to be close to nature. Off we go! Shoes off, everyone! Everyone took off their shoes, and then we all followed Monsieur Pamplemousse out of the school and to the magical woodland. Here we are, he said. Now go and forage. I really wanted to do a good job after the disastrous magical wand and ballet lessons. I'll show them, I thought. I'll make the best crown they've ever seen. I began to collect up the biggest and most beautiful flowers I could find. Then I wove some leaves and twigs. Pink Rabbit looked on in approval. 5 minutes left, said Monsieur Pamplemousse. Then I will come and look at what you've done. I really wanted my crown to be the best. What else could I add? Then I spotted some brightly colored toadstools growing in a ring nearby. They will look just like jewels, I said to Pink Rabbit. Quickly I picked them up and poked them in the crown. Beautiful! Look, Pink Rabbit, I am the queen. But when Monsieur Pamplemousse saw what I had done, he was not pleased at all. Isadora Moon, he said, you have just ruined a scarred fairy ring. I blinked. Has no one ever told you, said Monsieur Pamplemousse, never, ever to pick toadstools from a fairy ring. Besides, they are poisonous toadstools. I looked down at my hands and saw that they were covered in itchy red spots. Take off the crown at once. You had better go and get some magic cream from the school nurse, ordered Monsieur Pamplemousse. Hurriedly, I ripped off the crown from my head and threw it to the ground. I felt my eyes fill with tears. I didn't know, I said. I didn't know because I'm not a fairy. I am a vampire. Then I turned around and ran back towards the school and refused to say another word until Mom came to pick me up at home time. How was your day? Asked Mom when she saw me. Did you have a lovely time? Isn't fairy school just wonderful? And I said it was not wonderful at all, and that actually I didn't think I was a fairy. I was just a vampire. Mom looked a bit disappointed. You're probably just tired, she said. I'm sure you'll feel different tomorrow. We went home and had breakfast with Dad. He was very pleased to hear that I was a vampire. I did think so all along, he said as he slurped down his red juice. After breakfast, it was bedtime. I was so tired after my day at fairy school that I didn't even remember to brush my teeth. I just snuggled down with Pink Rabbit under the starry quilt and fell straight asleep. When I woke up in the morning and the sun was streaming through my turret window. Come on, Pink Rabbit, I said, poking him out of bed. It's vampire school tonight. I got dressed and then whizzed down the banister to the kitchen. Dad was just coming in from the night fly. He was yawning and looking tired. Mom was busy picking apples off the tree in the kitchen. She was turning them into glasses of apple juice with her wand. I sat down at the table and started to butter my toast. Are you looking forward to vampire school tonight? Asked Dad hopefully. Yes, sir, I said. I think I'm going to like vampire school. Dad looked pleased. He yawned and looked at the clock on the wall. Well, then you had better go back to bed after breakfast, he said. You must sleep all through the day so that are nice and fresh for the evening, just like I do. I stared at him. But I just got out of bed, I said in astonishment. I'm not tired. Well, you'll be tired at school if you don't get some sleep today, said Dad. Come on, finish up your toast and go to bed. So I finished up my toast, but very slowly, and then I walked upstairs to my turret, very slowly. And then I got back into my pajamas, very slowly. And then I went to my bed with Pink Rabbit and stared at the sun coming in through the window. How on earth was I supposed to sleep now? It was a very bright day, and the birds were tweeting loudly outside. The children were being noisy, too, on their way to school. After a few minutes, I got up and tried to block out the light with my quilt, but it didn't really work. Mom! I shouted down the stairs. Mom came hurrying up. What's the matter? She asked. It's too light, I complained. Mom magicked a dark pair of curtains across my window. It's too loud. I can hear the birds. Mom magicked a pair of earplugs. I'm thirsty, I said. Mom went and fetched me a glass of apple juice. I think I need the bathroom. Well, you had better go then, Mom sighed. By the time it was evening, I had not slept a wink, but I had drunk 13 glasses of apple juice and been to the bathroom too many times to count. I suddenly felt very tired. I could hardly keep my eyes open, nor could Pink Rabbit. We're very sleepy, I told Dad. Maybe we should just go to bed. Nonsense, said Dad. You've been asleep all day. Once you see how exciting vampire school is, you won't want to go to bed.